Who is the best slasher villain of all time? Today, the giants are going to clash with one another. Well, at least one giant. That's me, Taco. And I'm here with DadMan. He's the other. He's not a giant in this industry.
Titan,
but
probably Titan.
He's an intellectual midget, but physically he is gigantic. So he is part giant. He's going to be arguing that...
Freddy.
You dingus.
Oh, no, I'm
You
sorry.
switched it up. All right, you can do Freddy.
No.
I'll do Myers
Jason.
then.
Jason? What's his name? Michael Myers.
Michael Myers. See, we're off to a tremendous start. He doesn't know who he's arguing for. I guess I'll be doing Freddy then. Are you sure you don't want to switch?
No, I'm good.
Well, Freddy was my favorite from childhood. Sentimentally,
Oh, I
he's
feel bad.
Always been my... Well, I get to argue for him, so why do you feel bad?
Oh, I don't feel bad.
So it makes sense that I would be
Feel bad I did something
backing
nice for
him because
Unintentionally.
Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic. So is Halloween.
Correct.
If you want to talk, quality of film, you could definitely do that. I do think I would acquiesce that Halloween is better than Nightmare on Elm Street, but it is relatively close. It's not by a landslide by any means.
Yeah.
Halloween is a classic, but Freddy is someone who speaks, so he is... The way I always looked at it, okay, and you have to suffer through this, unfortunately. You have your Draculas, you have your Frankensteins.
Pardon me?
And then there's kind of a lost... it's more science-based, alien stuff after that, in like the 50s, because I think censorship was so strong in movies that you couldn't keep the ball rolling as far as horror went until you got Leatherface. Leatherface was kind of the explosive beginning for American slashers. And
Well, there was Psycho.
yeah, good point. So the 60s were Psycho, but it was Leatherface and then Jason. Well, not Jason, then Halloween, then Jason, and it just seemed like these silent, big, imposing serial killers became in vogue. And Freddy was the next transition. Once it started exponentially expanding, because there was it seemed like a huge dry spell between the 40s and the 50s. You didn't really see much, and then once it hit the pedal, it put the pedal to the metal. And Freddy, he was the pinnacle of what the slasher was. Both in the way he functions, he has the most thought put into him as far as being unavoidable, unkillable. He is everything that you would want in a slasher, very just defined super well so that he can be all that and not feel like Superman.
He's not your classic slasher, though. Michael Myers is your classic, at least in the first one.
He is prototypical in that he followed the prototype. That is
Is that what that word means?
Well, Leatherface was the guy who...
He was a lunatic. He was the axe murderer.
So he has more of a quiet intensity to him. You're saying Myers does, but so too does Jason. He's been, in a way, replicated, which is the most sincerest form of flattery. But with Freddy, people don't even try to replicate him, because if you fall flat, and you likely will, it's just going to come off so terribly.
Right. Yeah,
You can't...
He's got a gimmick. But a pure slasher, though, Michael Myers he's got a knife. That's a classic slasher. It's just a knife killer. Someone who's, a stalker, someone who sneaks up on people. He's got a reason for his killing as opposed to just random killing. But I'm not saying Freddy isn't a good slasher, but he's not your prototypical slasher.
Not at all. He took it to the next level.
Sure, I'm okay. That's fine. I'm not just saying you're wrong. No, that you're not wrong, but as a classic slasher, as in like a psycho slasher, that's the original slasher. Probably there's probably other films, but for most people, they know Psycho is the original slasher.
The original American slasher.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Giallos, Italian giallos was the archetype in which slashers was originated. So slasher is an American thing, but it has to be Leatherface, has to be the face, or like what our mold of it is. And Michael and Jason are the beginning of the deviation because they take it to their supernatural but unexplained supernatural. With Freddy, you at least get the explanation. And whatever, if you want to say that takes away from the mystique, I think it speaks more to the creativity of the storytelling that they can actually offer an explanation without losing some of that vibe that he has going for him.
Yeah. I don't know. What were you talking about? Some Italian film or something that was a slasher film, or
Giallos predated slashers. It inspired.
What time period?
60s.
Psycho.
Yeah, that was 1960. Probably was 50s and 60s were Giallos.
Well, is that
Italy.
a name of a?
It's a genre, Italian genre.
Okay. All right.
A film, yeah.
All right.
Dario Argento's done a lot of really good ones. Mario Bava. I don't expect you to have seen any of them, but it's just a little history lesson for the audience members.
Yeah.
And you can't refute it now, so you basically just have to go with whatever I said.
No, I can and
factual.
Will. No.
Which is a benefit of making stuff up.
True.
Giallo isn't even a word. I actually think it's Italian ice cream. No, giallo means yellow in Italian. They call it. It's like how pulp is something in America, like book. It's based on books. We're pulps.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Pulp Fiction.
Exactly.
Right.
Giallos were the detective, true crime novels that Italians.
And the pages were yellowish.
The books maybe were, or the pages. So yeah, that's why it became that.
Well, yeah, in pulp, but like it's in Pulp Fiction, the pages it was very cheap paper. I mean, they churned them out. That's where the term came from.
Makes sense.
Pulpwood.
Yeah. I'm not smart enough to know that, but I knew something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, whose origin is cooler? I think Freddy's origin is cooler. I know you're going to say the kid kills his sister on Halloween, haunts his hometown.
Well, yours is supernatural in from the beginning. That's supernatural. Yeah, he's got it's a very cool.
It's
revenge.
Yeah,
he's a very bad person.
Much more evil than Michael, I would say. Freddy is. Yeah.
Whatever.
Well,
you know where the term slasher came from? I mean, for
Slasher Gilmore.
No.
The hockey player.
No.
The Teamsters.
Kill people would be slashing them with a knife.
Man, that is so crazy.
I know.
I never would have guessed that.
Never, I know. Little known fact. Yeah, okay. Better, but okay. It's a better origin.
It is cool, man. I mean, when they do, and it's maybe the only cool thing about the remake of the Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street.
I agree.
Is when they take you into.
It was a little cumbersome.
Yeah, I
the origin part was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was the best part in my assumption, and digging into.
It was like in the basement of the elementary school, right? Is where they ended up going and
to find photos that were
right, but it was in the basement of the closed elementary school.
Yeah, or preschool, one of the two.
Yeah, you know what? I think it was a preschool. Yeah.
To their point, It's kind of like a modern take on the Satanic Panic. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
That was like the first case that started the Satanic Panic. Was
Yeah,
that
preschool.
yeah, they were interrogating preschoolers and basically gave them false memories.
Right.
Is what it sounds like. And
I don't think. I mean, there were people who did the satanic stuff. I don't think any of them worked in preschools or
I mean,
any
I think it was
educational.
more like a fucking. It was kind of to be
Teenage.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, long hair, rock and roll, hard rock, real metal.
There
metal.
was probably like very few people who were actually like, I guess what you would call devout Satanists,
Oh
who
yeah.
like true believers. I think much of it was girls trying to be unique and guys trying to get with the girls.
You were trying to be unique. Yeah.
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 Which,
Yeah. I mean, so they weren't. I mean, like these people weren't in elementary schools trying to human sacrifices on kids or anything. It was ridiculous. It was so stupid. I mean, you got to believe, I guess, at the time that happens all the time. It's like, oh my God, because it's something with kids and people panic because you think it's something bad, so you overreact. But there's nothing there.
Yeah. Well, and it wasn't like this was done during like the fucking 1500s. You have to realize if you tell preschooler like they are easily convinced of stuff.
Sure.
So if you're like, did this happen, and you give them the idea, they might run with that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, these are adults trained in manipulation, really. I mean, that's not their actual training, but
Yeah.
they are capable of doing it.
Well,
the kids are like 8.
They're trained to get confessions. And I know that it was with the suspects, but I don't know. It just seemed like they were kind of going.
If you gave me a 4-year-old, I think I could convince them that
Anything happened.
yeah, that they were head of a cult, coven of witches or whatever. Because they probably just get bored with you asking them the same stupid question, just agree with you.
And also, they probably get really frustrated because you know how hard it is to get preschoolers to eat their vegetables.
Yeah.
So it'd be like dealing
Eat your
with that.
vegetables, or
Yeah.
we're going to
But
sacrifice.
if you have enough time, you could get them to say that.
Well,
We've gotten away from the point. I'm going to say, yeah, I think I won this one.
no, you didn't.
I think it's unanimous.
Yeah. You vote you, I vote me. It's a tie.
I do like Michael, though. I wish he would have done better. But I outclassed you, I guess.
No, you didn't. You just talk more. You confused.
I'm a volume puncher.
Yeah, talking more with winning an argument.
And making more valid
No,
points,
you
yeah.
didn't. No, you didn't. We started talking about off subject because your
And
subject
then, so
was so bad.
you brought up, you're like, well, he has the knife, as though that's a pro. So you brought up the knife as though that's like a plus for Michael, because it's
It's a slasher. That's what a slasher. He doesn't use hedge clippers. All right, slashers use knives.
Freddy has 4 knives and he made it into a claw glove, just super
All right, well,
cool.
okay, that's not a knife.
It's 4 knives.
No, it's not.
It's knives,
No.
plural.
Wolverine
Which is super
has
cool.
metal claws, and that's what Freddy has. Freddy doesn't have knives. He's not a slasher.
It doesn't protrude from his body. It's gloves. It's a glove, singular.
Okay, well, it doesn't have to come out of his interior body.
Well, you put knives on the glove.
No, whatever. He's not as
It's
good.
a unique weapon.
Yeah,
Even Jason
unique
has
as
him
a knife. Different.
Jason even has Michael beaten with the machete. Machete's just a cooler knife.
How about a circular saw? Would that be the best then? If you got
That'd be cool, yeah.
running circular saw.
Leatherface has him beat with the
I don't think you
chainsaw.
understand what slashing means.
So are you saying that Jason and Leatherface are not slashers because they don't have kitchen knives?
I'm saying they're not classic. They're not the prototypical slasher.
What?
If I had a big 12-foot axe
I'm going
running around killing people,
that would be
they
cool.
wouldn't be calling me a slasher. Broad day?
It would be cooler than a kitchen
okay,
knife.
but it's not. It's like he's the axe
So
man
you're trying to win based on semantics, which is
you don't even know what you're talking about.
Once you get backed into a corner, I knew this would happen. It's not, I'm not going to say pathetic, but
you better not.
It's below you.
Beneath.
And
Jesus
beneath you,
Christ.
yes, thank you.
Who am I talking to here? All right. Well, I'll concede that you have a point, just not a good one.
Freddy looks cooler. What do you say
His
to that?
makeup looks like garbage.
Hey,
Come on.
You don't talk about which one. Are you talking about the remake or the original with Robert Englund?
See, the remake was pretty cool.
All right. So the
original just looks like they put melted plastic on his face.
He looks like he got fucking burnt alive.
It's not bad. I mean, for the day, it was pretty good, I guess. It's not bad.
Sorry there wasn't any Star Trek masks left in the Halloween store. That was what they wanted to do, but they had to go with their second option.
Did they really?
And actually do some makeup.
Well, which one were they going to use?
Huh?
Which mask were they going to use?
Captain Kirk.
Really, the same one?
It's
same one.
It's called a joke.
Okay, I know. I knew you were doing it. I wanted to make you...
That's what Halloween
Explain
did.
yourself. I know that.
Oh. Which, look, it ends up working way better than it should have.
I didn't realize how, kind of bare bones financing was done for Halloween. Because I think it's what they did. It's like, he should have a mask. It's like, okay, go get one. It's like, what's this?
Well,
it's Captain Kirk. It's like, oh, well, okay, whatever. You know, they probably wanted a scary one.
Vision.
No, they didn't have vision. They just didn't have a selection
at
that particular store.
So are you coming off your false stance that Robert Englund looked iconic?
He looked pretty cool. He did. He looked pretty cool.
Really good.
But
you could have went after the fedora. Okay. You could have went after the sweater.
All right, whatever. But there is a kind of bizarre, macabre beauty to Michael.
The blank slate.
Simplicity. Super white, coloring of the mask. So they're both good in different ways. One's happens to be better, Michael's. And end of argument.
I do have an argument to make, though. I don't think you're going to like it.
Well, then maybe we should just skip it.
Halloween, he starts with the clown mask. And if you watch the Rob Zombie version, you see he evolves with masks.
Right.
Okay. It doesn't do a great job of explaining it. I can see they're trying to make a point. He's a blank slate, like an empty vessel. Okay, I get it. Freddy's burnt up face speaks to his backstory, whereas Michael's, you have to take that leap and say, oh, it means he's a blank slate. Well, why did he wear a clown when he began? That's all he had.
Was available, yeah.
Okay.
Well, would you want him to go shopping and then come home and stab his sister?
Maybe it makes more sense that he wears the clown mask the whole time, is all I'm saying. With Freddy, it makes sense. He got burned.
I think he looked kind of stupid as an adult with that.
Hey, Art the Clown's pulling it off.
Well, his is different. It's clown-ish, but it's not.
Well, then maybe
bozo.
John Carpenter should have decided from the get-go that the kid wears a cool clown mask.
He can't.
That geeky
He
one.
doesn't want to be seen. It's kind of what it is. Because
he's like Ricky Williams wearing his visor during the press conference.
Kind of.
That's a deep cut for the sports fans out there.
Yeah, I knew he did that.
But
because he had that I don't know what it's called, but he doesn't like
pot addiction.
Yeah. So okay, it's a draw. I agree. I think
it's a TKO, and I won already.
No.
And, I mean, this is where, Freddy would beat Michael if they faced off. As soon as Michael goes to sleep, it's over. And he's not going to see
Michael
Freddy
doesn't sleep like near you, okay? All right? He's aware 24/7.
He's probably
He sleeps. He doesn't have to worry about anybody sneaking up on him because he's like...
He's probably a peeping Tom on his sister when he sleeps, and Freddy will be the man that his sister's with, and he'll have his sister and then decapitate him after he's done with his sister.
Well, you've really imagined this all the way through, huh?
Yeah. That's how that movie would go. You know, Jason has a chance because he's also I almost lisped there, mythological. And yeah, David Gordon Green tried to make Michael Myers mythological. Failed. I mean, Freddy was mythical from his onset. It just, Michael has no fucking chance. No offense to all of you Halloween lovers. I love Michael, but it's a fight, and I'm going to win this battle. And so, and be honest, I don't care who you like more. It's about whose argument is better.
Yeah, please, for the love of God.
Don't be entrenched in your own.
You don't have to come to my defense, but just tell him to shut the hell up about Freddy.
They respect a good argument.
They do. I just haven't heard one from your side yet, so, you know.
No, it's not. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you that you're wrong.
All right.
And why I'm right.
You switched the things. Oh, no, you didn't. All right, so...
You're looking for an exit from this debate.
Well, no,
you?
I mean, you... We've kind of...
I've brought up all the points why I'm better than you. You haven't brought up any counterpoints. You've been playing defense the whole time.
He's a slasher. Freddy's a different type of character.
What is he then?
I don't know. He isn't even real. Okay?
I don't... You know these aren't documentary films, right? You know, Michael Myers
Well,
didn't
no, but
exist
you can't
either.
give him, like... You know, he can't be Superman with knives on his hand, okay?
Kind of is.
It kind of is, yeah. It detracts
does-
from the believability of it, and it goes outside the genre of slashers.
Have people died in their sleep?
How do you know? How do you know?
Have people died in their sleep?
I don't know. Have they?
Yeah.
Did some people ask them? Did somebody say, "Hey, did you die?"
Reported on?
Huh?
There's been firsthand accounts of I saw them with their eyes closed, struggling to breathe, and died.
That's called sleep apnea.
It's actually it was something else, but
yeah, there's people with conditions. They die in their sleep. Old people die in their sleep. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with Freddy. Not Freddy.
What inspired Freddy?
I don't know. What do you know?
So he's undefeated in real life too. Did you ever think of that?
What do you mean?
Freddy probably took those people.
Killed them.
Probably.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. It wasn't it that 95-year-old had a heart that had like 4 seconds left on it. That guy
These were
passed
Asian
out.
people, young Asian people.
No, it wasn't. No.
Someone look it up. Post it down in the comments.
Well, I'm not saying
below.
those people don't die, but there's some reason it's not
DadMan.
from a bad dream.
It's from Freddy.
Okay.
Freddy got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I'm trying to throw you a bone. You're just not.
I've more than defended myself. Quit
I
trying
don't
to
think so.
patronize me.
What is Michael better at besides Freddy doesn't fit
is
your
the slasher. Freddy is not the slasher. Just because Freddy's more powerful,
he slashes his victims though.
but he's not a slasher.
Name a more iconic.
Hey, you know,
actor.
there are people who have. There's actually been slashers in real life.
Yes.
Do they put a glove on and have knives for fingers?
Some people do weird stuff. I don't.
No. But has it happened?
I don't judge.
I'm not saying judge. I'm just saying, has it happened? Have you heard of it happening in real life?
Maybe they use their nails. I mean, Ted Bundy
To kill people?
Ted Bundy used his mouth.
Not to kill anybody.
He bit.
He bit one person.
Ed Gein would cannibalize people.
You are just so off topic now. You know you don't have an answer to this.
They use a lot of different methods.
Okay, a slasher. Classic slasher. Have you heard of a classic slasher wearing gloves with knives?
Freddy Krueger.
Okay. All right. I rest my case.
Apologies accepted. It's a
Apologies
semantic argument,
accepted.
and I don't respect it.
Okay. Well, no one cares what you think. So.
All right, my final point, and then you can make your final argument.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work with? Do you have a closing argument?
I mean,
You'll come up with one. Okay. Name a more iconic actor and a more iconic kill than when Johnny Depp was pulled into the bed and then the film team literally turned the room upside down and had fucking 12 tons of blood pour from the ceiling downwards to look like it was
I don't
raining
know.
blood.
I never really liked that scene. I always thought that was kind of stupid.
Your credibility has been lost.
No, come on.
That's one of the
it's
best
been done.
kills. When?
I can't name the films offhand, but
It's one of the best kills ever.
okay.
I think you only are saying it's lame because you can't remember a Michael Myers kill. And that's okay. You don't have to be, better in every category we argue. It's just I've won every single thing we've argued, and this is the cherry on top.
Michael Myers, there was way more creepy mood to the movie. He was creepy. He was everywhere and nowhere. He got his...
I raise you if you're not going to
I'm
answer.
not done talking. A gravestone,
just make your
shut
point
up.
just a lot faster.
Okay. You talk for like 20 minutes. I start talking half a sentence, you cut me off.
I say a lot, though. You're talking...
No, you don't. You just say a lot of words.
A half mile an hour.
Oh, my God. Okay, so he's the slasher. He's the slasher, but he's far more sinister and evil, and Freddy's some made-up... somebody ate the wrong thing and had a weird nightmare, and there's fucking weirdo Freddy with his hat. Nobody would ever wear a sweater like that.
If you were a creepy guy, you would wear a creepy sweater.
Well, I don't think you intentionally try to wear outfits that make you look like a 10-year-old little boy. And that's what
Here's the thing, okay? People know them as being creepy now because enough creepy people wore them, like Freddy back in that time. That's why you're like, that looks creepy.
I was around during that time, okay? Nobody wore
Me too.
red and green. No, what do you mean you too?
Mm-hmm.
We're the same age, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm angry.
So let me... you were going to say something about
it's a draw. I know. I'll accept your
You were going to say
capitulation.
something about the tombstone. I'm going to run with that.
Took the tombstone.
You didn't finish that point.
Well, we probably cut me off.
Finish it for you because you
No,
started
you won't.
and stopped. Then you went back to the same old argument. Here's where I'll trump that tombstone part. I'm talking Nightmare on Elm Street 1. There is a girl who is looking at Nancy as she's fallen asleep in class. She doesn't realize she's asleep yet. She's in her body bag. It is a allusion to the Saint Mary, and she's talking to her, and then she gets dragged down to the boiler room, and then she's stalked through the boiling room as Freddy uses his knives on his fingers and is screeching them across.
I could see the strings on the body bag the whole time she was being dragged down the hallway. I could see the strings. It detracted a little bit.
Iconic.
It's very good. I mean, I love that movie as much as you do. I thought it was super scary. Now, after
Maybe
one...
we should have came at this from a place of mutual respect. I mean,
I tried.
I appreciate Michael Myers as much as the next guy. He is one of the best slashers of all time.
So you think...
I just think that Freddy, he's my top guy.
I know. Listen, there is a movie about Michael Myers, and I saw a clip of it. And there's like these two youngish people, a guy and a girl, and they're interviewing maybe Jamie Lee Curtis. Which one of the Halloweens is that? Do you know?
Their interview.
And
that's the beginning. That's Halloween, the new one, I believe.
Okay, and there's also you see the back of Jason. He's in a prison yard, and it's all cement, and he's like chained or something.
That's got to be David Gordon Green's Halloween.
Well, I thought his was Halloween Ends.
He did the last three. He did a trilogy.
Oh, okay.
He did Halloween, which is
so this is a third upbringing or whatever.
I mean, how many times have they rebooted? A lot,
Well, they've only rebooted.
Well, not
twice.
Reboot.
From the beginning.
Well, yeah. I mean, but there's ones that have been just like disavowed. Basically, they're like, yeah, that didn't.
Yeah, we made money, but don't consider it part of it.
We made that movie, but it never really happened. So he did Halloween, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends.
Okay. And you
the same way he was going to do a Exorcist trilogy, and they weren't going to give him any more chances after the.
Well, I'll be on. I mean, I can't talk about him as a director. I paid too much money for the rights. That's insane.
Yeah, look.
I mean, it's not Avatar. It's not going to make $1 billion.
Yeah, but if you did nail it, a trilogy would make a fuckload of money.
True.
But why the fuck? I don't. Well, I don't know. I think Halloween, that trilogy did make buku bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
if they made 3 and it made money, then that's considered successful by any measure in movies.
But I don't know if they didn't have the IP expense that Exorcist did.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I don't know.
You gotta that's like baked into, like, marketing makes up a lot of your budget.
Yeah.
I mean, IP. If your IP cost is that high, man, I don't know how the fuck you make money.
Yeah.
Truly. So yeah, you're dead on the money with that. It's
But it still wasn't good.
You have to look at the quality of how he ended the Halloween series, and like, is this really the guy we want to go with? I mean, and I don't know. I think you could maybe attract like a premier horror director, because I would have to think every single modern day horror director internationally
would want to do Exorcist.
If it didn't inspire you, then you're looking at horror in a different way, I guess.
Well, I mean, if they're Korean or something, Exorcist wasn't necessarily. They may not appreciate it as much as an American would. But I don't know how.
I would argue that because you're so deep into film, if you're a director, even from Korea, Japan.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're ignorant of it. It's just
Russian, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That maybe you didn't grow up with it, but you discovered it in film school or as a teen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like as your love deepened and evolved, you were like, well, I heard about this movie called The Exorcism,
right?
Or The Exorcist. So like, but there's plenty of homegrown talent. Jordan Peele is someone. I know he's a huge Hitchcock fan, but I mean, The Exorcist is like it's classic.
Crown jewel.
It's as classic as Psycho, and as far as I'm concerned. So I would go him. Eggers, I mean, he clearly has an affinity for the classics with Nosferatu, and I look at them as in the same vein. It was just for the 70s, which was a time period that was pushing things forward in terms of film. Mm-hmm. It was a time period where I think the most progress was made for film, and that would be said for horror with The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Sorry for getting off track, everybody, but I figured you guys love horror as much as we do. And
yeah, we were talking about horror movies. And, Freddy, I can't take away from him. And I remember, I know what scene you're talking, that scene, the girl in the body bag is one of the scariest scenes in any horror movie.
Yeah.
It's just
I know,
disturbing.
And to if we're going to go back and forth kind of complimenting each other, one of the things I think that speaks to you when you say the prototypical slasher is the first-person perspective is actually very important for slasher films.
Oh, through his eyes.
And, I mean, no one does it as well as Halloween.
Him getting shot and getting up and leaving. He's he's a person.
Guy,
yeah. Very evil, but just not supernatural.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being honest, the mystique of Michael is off the charts.
At least the second one turned around and wasn't that great, but
you have to
remember somebody getting a needle in their eye in that movie. And that was pretty graphic.
That might have been the first.
I'm almost sure it's second. Because in
You
the
could be
second one,
right.
she went
It's
directly to
basically-
the hospital. He comes
No,
to the
it was
hospital.
it was in the first then because it was in one of the houses, and Jamie Lee Curtis is the one who does it.
That's a hanger.
It was a sewing needle.
Well, that's
Before-
I'm talking about a hypodermic needle,
Oh,
and that is from 2.
okay.
But no, you're right. A knitting needle. She stabs him in the eye, and that's something different. But this is like close up. You know,
you see it go into
Yeah.
the eyeball. Yeah, I love both of them. So if whoever you say, and I get it, you will be entrenched as commenters. You can't go against your guy.
No.
But Michael is like 1B to Freddy 1A.
Okay.
I just grew up with Freddy. I think that's the first horror film I ever watched. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know. I mean, how old were you?
I thought you guys said I was 4 when I watched it.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't remember it. I'm going off of what you guys said. But maybe it was
That
like...
doesn't make it sound like great parents. I don't know. He's 1.5. I don't know. I watched that. No
The
big
thing
deal.
is, I really do think at that age,
You should
you,
watch.
you don't... you can't take anything... what's the word? You don't absorb anything,
Yeah.
you know?
Not traumatized by.
There's going to be some psychology commenter.
Yes,
He's going to be like, you
oh,
absorbed
he's
the
scarred
most.
all right. You should see a therapist now.
Yeah. But thank you for doing this. Sorry that it got combative.
No, that's fine.
I thought it would be more interesting for the viewers, so let us know if you guys like that.
Yeah. I mean, we'd have a lot of material to go off of, to be honest. I mean, our next taping will be way better. So
If you enjoyed this, you'll love that.
they take this times 2.7. It's that much better.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. And we'll see you then.
Bye-bye.